Hey, it's Vinny Ten at Vinny Ten Racing. How you guys doing out there? Summer's upon us. It's right around the corner. The weather is coming. I mean, this week it rained most of the week. Today's actually Saturday because it was so badly torrentially downpouring yesterday. There was no way we were going to get off a video. So the Saturday flavor of the shop is a little different than Monday through Friday, but was sure to bring you some really interesting things today. Like I said, really tough week, a lot of deadlines. Everybody wants their stuff. Everybody wants to, all of a sudden the sun comes out and everybody just wants to bring in their stuff. So we're really busy. This week, obviously, if you've been watching the videos, we had that situation with the Subaru where it exploded the cam gear, bent every valve in the motor, and we had a deadline because we had some people coming in from Italy to look at that car. There's a lot of history with that car, which we'll get to later on down the road on that car. So they're here. They were here on Wednesday. We got the car done on Wednesday morning. Steve put the motor in 6 hours. He was just a monster. I mean, I worked obviously all of Saturday, all of Sunday, all of Monday, all of Tuesday to get it done. Gave it to Steve's Wednesday morning, and he just knocked it right out in 7 hours. It was done. Just an amazing effort. And I got to thank all my vendors that got me parts here. And I got to thank my whole team here because of what they do and how they support us. So we make it work. And we also had a full week of shop work along with that red Supra. So we're going to be bringing you that in this video as well. I didn't get as much done as I wanted to because of that situation with the Subaru. But I did get the other head up. I did get one side, I got the head assembled. I got one side adjusted. I'll have, hopefully at the end of today, when this is all over, I'll be able to get back to that and have some peace and quiet and actually assemble that engine, that cylinder head. And on Monday, I suspect that we'll have those heads on that motor. So we'll go forward with that. Let's go see what's happening in the shop, and we'll go from there. Hey, what's up? Like I said, today is Saturday, so we have a definitely different flavor going on. We got Miss Helen B's car in here just for a simple oil change. She loves us. She brings her car in here just to have a service. It's just a regular generic Honda. But again, if you love your car, if you like your car, if you want to bring it to somebody that really gives a shit about your car and you want it serviced properly, we're more than happy to do that. It's not something that we advertise that we do, but we really will do it for people that care about their car. Miss Helen B is one of those people. So Joey was over here this week. This car was in storage for 5 years. As soon as we put key to it, everything leaked. Fuel system leaked. Injectors were clogged. Joey, what else was wrong with this car?
So we did gearbox flush. We did oil pan reseal.
Right.
We flushed the injectors after they were fouled from bad gas from sitting for 5 years. We did some AM fittings on the rails. And then we had to do a rear stabilizer bracket for the sway bar. And that's about it.
All right. See, we're getting rid of those old pipes, those old down pipes. We're getting rid of them because no cats in them. So now, we could take these old down pipes, weld in a nice high flow 𝐍𝐬𝐬𝐬𝐬 pipe, and actually make it emissions legal. So that's really nice. This car is on a transporter. It's going back home to Daytona Toyota. They're super happy. The Monster obviously finished the red Supra this week, which is going to be in this video. So stay tuned to the end. So the Monster's got 2 more big projects coming along. Actually, we got 3 more big projects right off the, actually 4. If you really think about it, 4 more projects. So we have, this needs a motor. This is an electrical nightmare. It's got a twin turbo kit in it. It's got an AAM twin turbo kit in it. They do a great job making the kits, but the install, I don't know who did that. That's definitely suspect. We have to finish off an IS300, and we have a G37 that we converted. It's also a twin turbo car that we built the motor, built the turbo kit, and that is being converted into a 3-speed automatic, TH400. So we have that coming up. So the monster's busy. And then this week, we had somebody come in that said they needed a motor for this car. And it didn't. You know, these BMWs come right here. You know, looked like it fouled every plug. It was pouring oil. Oh, you need a motor, you need a motor. We checked it out. We did a basic compression test, had 200 pounds of compression in each cylinder. I'm like, this thing don't need a motor. I said, let's look into it a little further. The monster looked into it a little further and he said, hey, these things go bad. It's a PCV evap type of deal. It's completely clogged and oil separator. And the hose going to it was broken. So, you know, this person brought this to somebody else and they said, yeah, you need a motor. This is what you needed. Had a broken effing hose. So let's go see what's on the dyno. Let's go see how well our work turned out. It's not a car that we didn't build the motor, so I don't want to take credit for that. But at the same time, we obviously put the whole car back together after sitting in another shop for 3 years. So, you know, let's go discuss that car. Let's see how well it came out. Let's see how good the monster's work is. Let's see how good the tune is. And let's see what we got with that. Hey, what's up? Well, after three weeks, 3.5 weeks of being on this car, going through the entire car, it's now ready for the dyno. You know, one of the things I kind of want to discuss in these videos that we're trying to, you know, I don't know what we're trying, not that we don't know what we're trying to do, but people lose their cars in shops. They're just not talented enough to get the work through the shop. You made a lot of promises, you sold a lot of dreams, and then years later, you give it a nightmare. This is just one of those cases. If you're in a shop that doesn't look like it's producing work in the shop, it's not producing work in the shop. They may be your friends, they may be really cool to hang out with, they may be talented on one specific item, but if they're not running a shop to where they're producing work, you know, on a weekly, bi-weekly basis, on a daily basis with some of their techs, if they got one tech, don't bring your car there. You're going to regret it, and you're going to be sold a nightmare. But anyway, this car is done. Let's talk about this car for 1 second. There's a couple of things I don't like about this car that I wish that I was more involved in the car, obviously prior to this guy buying parts. One of the things I don't like about it, and it does work. It does work. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it's definitely not my first choice. They run a log style manifold on this, and if you look right at it right here, if you come on over a little bit more, try not to kill yourself, all right? Because I don't have insurance. Nah. So it's got a log style manifold. I'm not super excited about that. It also has a little bit too small of a turbo on it. This manifold is a good piece. I'm not saying it's not a terrible piece or a terrible choice. We are going to make horsepower with it, but if I had my choice, I definitely go with a really good 6-into-1 tubular manifold, that where I could put a little bit bigger turbo on it, and I could definitely put a bigger gate on it and just have a lot more control over what we're doing. This works, it's fine, but if the customer comes back and he says, what else can I do? That's what you could do. I would just take this system right off, put a real turbo on here, put a real manifold on here and a real wastegate, and the car would be a completely different car, probably pick up 125, 150 horsepower. Obviously with a little bit more boost, but with a lot less back pressure. So with that being said, let's see what we did get. You know, the Monster, if you look at this work, it's just flawless. Like, we do flawless work. I invite any shop to look over any car I build. You could pick it apart, you can look at it, you can look at every hose, every fitting, every bolt, every nut, every placement of everything. I don't care what you look at. When you look at one of our cars that we built from beginning to end, it's gonna be flawless. And you know why? Because I'm a fucking asshole, that's why. And I cannot stand cars coming back to my shop. I cannot stand shit work. We've been doing this stuff for 33 years in my shop. 12 years before that, I worked for everybody else. If we don't know what we're doing at this point, I shouldn't have a shop. I just shouldn't have a shop. So, you know, the Monster, Jarek right here, did just a phenomenal job as he does on everything. We love building cars together. This is the stuff that him and I love to do. And so it just, let's see what we got. So with that being said, Stevie, fire in the hole. Oh yeah, I gotta go sit on the back of this car because it's got a Michelin Pilot that's probably 5 or 6 years old. So it's spinning the tire a little bit on the dyno. Wow, that's loud. So 592 on pump gas, 704 on E85, respectively 27 pounds of boost, 32 pounds of boost. What we're really seeing is about 2 pounds under that. The sensors between the dyno and the Haltech are a little different. So we absolutely believe what we see in the computer. So this, you know, 704, you've seen this car come through my shop. You've seen it in a basket case. You've seen the customer drop off this car with just tons and tons of parts, you know, basically a lot of hopelessness, you know. And as we go through, you should be checking out my YouTube. You should be looking at more of the Instagram videos. And again, not because I'm trying to sell you something. I'm not trying to sell you nothing. I don't even fucking have t-shirts to sell you. But what I want to show you is that done right, these cars can move through a good shop 2, 3, 4 weeks tops. If your car is being laid up in the shop, if it's your parts aren't there, you know what's happening? You're about to get knocked out.